Our guest for the next 1 hour is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and Tanganyika, Professor Patrick Loch Otieno Lumumba. PLO, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good to have you back here.
Thank you very much.
I said we have to find out why advocate of the High Court of Tanganyika. Why do you have to include it there? I thought it was like automatic when you're an advocate of a High Court of Kenya, then you can be admitted to the bars of Tanzania and Uganda. And
no, you've got to be specifically admitted to the bar of Tanganyika. Mm-hmm. Remember, Zanzibar has a different bar. So it's not automatic.
It's not automatic?
No, not at all.
So a Kenyan advocate cannot just go and practice?
Does not have right of audience in the courts of Tanganyika.
Okay.
Unless they are admitted as such.
Did you have to sit a bar exam in Tanganyika?
What happened at that time is that you had to have an interview with the Chief Justice. Mm-hmm. And the Chief Justice spent how many hours with me? 6 hours asking me questions about the laws of Tanzania and Tanganyika. And when he was satisfied that I knew the law, he recommended that I be admitted. Tanzania did not have bar examinations then. They have now introduced it like we do in Kenya.
That's interesting. So you actually did study the laws of Tanganyika and Tanzania.
Yeah. They've got to be satisfied that I'm fit to practice in Tanganyika.
Sasa interview ilikuwa kwa Kiswahili ama
kwa Kiingereza na Kiswahili?
So, swali la kwanza kaka Pendo.
Kwenye haya maudhui. Sheria kwa kipengee. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
City will welcome you with the day's proverb. And this week the proverbs are from the Gambia.
Yes, the Republic of the Gambia, not just Gambia. This proverb is actually interesting. If you stir up water in the pond, you will bring up the pond.
If you stir up water in the pond, you will bring up the pond. Prof, what's your interpretation?
You make the pond come alive. That is how I understand it. Because if it is not stirred, then it's dead. But you stir it and give it life.
Perfect.
Stirring up the water in the pond, you bring up the pond.
Yes.
Is that what you're doing with a letter to the president?
Exactly.
Okay. Give us now, first of all, the background. You have written a letter to President William Ruto. What about and why?
It is the civic duty of a patriotic citizen to be involved in the affairs of his or her nation. I observe our nation on a daily basis, and I'm worried. I'm worried that we are on the wrong path. And the buck stops with the President of the Republic of Kenya. And that is why I chose to write to him, to raise the critical issues. And remember, in that letter, I remind him that I did write to you on the first day of March. The year 2023, and on that occasion I wrote to both him and Mr. Raila Odinga when the country was in trouble. Of course, I've been vindicated. What I did suggest is what came about. The two gentlemen have entered into a rapprochement, and they are singing all the way to different places. But not for the benefit of the nation.
There you go.
Because things have gone south, in my view, and they continue to go south. And it is our duty to remind the president that you took an oath to serve your country. Your country is unhappy. That was the genesis.
Has it been received?
Oh, of course, the letter was received. I have a signed copy. It was delivered at his office in Arambe House.
Okay.
And it was received.
Do you expect a response from him?
I don't. My experience with African heads of state, except 3, they never respond. And I write to quite a number of them. The late John Joseph Pombe Magufuli used to respond to letters. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni responds to letters. Paul Kagame responds to letters, and I must also remember that Chakwera of Malawi does respond to letters. But Kenyan presidents, and I've written to all of them except Jomo Kenyatta, never respond to letters.
So even last year's letter was not responded to?
No, was not responded to.
Okay. In this letter, You tell the president a number of things, of course, reminding him about last year's letter and telling him what you felt then. And then you say it's common knowledge that the political rapprochement rode in the crest of protest by a segment of young Kenyans, Christ and Gen Z, in the month of July, during which they dramatized their dissatisfaction with the finance bill and the performance of your administration in several key areas. In response to their popular demands, you returned the finance bill to the National Assembly with all provisions deleted and dissolved your cabinet, which has now since been reconstituted in partnership with ODM. Your Excellency, your actions notwithstanding, and as I write, the National Intelligence Service will have informed you that there is a circulation of a lamentation about Kenya titled "Cry, My Beloved Country." And you quote that "Cry, My Beloved Country." What circulation is this, PLO?
You know, somebody sent me that particular poem, if you may, crying about the country. And if you read that poem, the individual is listing a number of concerns.
Yeah.
This is our country where governors and others are looting. This is our country where things are not happening in the right way. And you cannot fault all the issues that are raised there. And the gentleman is saying, but even when this is happening, there appears to be no positive response. It is business as usual on the part of the political class. Look, for example, at the finance bill. Without precedent, there has never been in the history of any country that I know where the president, upon receiving a bill, returns it with all provisions deleted without recommendation as to what ought to happen. We are now back again. The finance bill will be back with a bang. Cabinet reconstituted, and the individuals whom we thought would leave cabinet are back there. And in fact, when they are being vetted, they tell us how much they have raised or made in the last 2 years. Personal fortunes have increased, but the fortunes of the country have dwindled. These are concerns, and yet we are not angry as Kenyans. So that what the Gen Z did was to scare the political class for only a short while. And after they have entered into this alliance with the president, has entered into this alliance with Mr. Raila Odinga, he now feels that he has settled the political temperature, because by doing so, he has ethnicized the politics of the country. And in his mind, I think, neutered the movement of the young people. So you can do whatever you want. And this is not without precedent. We have seen it. We have seen it with the President Moi. We have seen it with the President Kibaki after 2008. We have seen it with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and now with President Ruto. If you remember, during the campaign, the president said, I will not allow myself to enter into any engagement with Raila Odinga.
Yeah. Bonapilo, there's something you've said, and I think it's interesting, that when you look at the unfolding of events, you've said that Kenyans are not angry. Kenyans are not angry, and that's why you don't see what any kind of action. The Gen Z protest did quite a thing in terms of putting a fork in the road in terms of where folks are going to go. But you've gone ahead to say that Kenyans are not angry. What would you see if Kenyans were?
If Kenyans were angry, Kenyans would sustain the protest. The middle class would sustain the protest in an organized manner. And we saw this in